The views and opinions expressed on Wrestling Winedown are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Winedown, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. I am always so inspired by the creative, artistic individuals that we have in the wrestling community, and I am honored to be joined by one today. You have probably seen and or purchased her designs off of social media. Nicole, also known as Murua, is a huge wrestling fan and a graphic designer who has created illustrations of both AEW and WWE Superstars, including the likes of Britt Baker, Jade Cargill, the Young Bucks, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and many more. We are diving into Nicole's history as a graphic designer. You won't believe how many pieces she's created over the years, as well as the pieces that she's loved and the superstars or wrestlers that have recognized her work along the way. We'll also be talking about the future and the pieces that Nicole plans to release soon. So grab your glass of wine. We're going in for the 3 count. It is so important to highlight our female creators within the wrestling community. And as I mentioned in my intro, I have Nicole, also known as Nakamura, here. And we actually met at the SummerSlam brunch that Brittany Sacco and I hosted last year. Wasn't that such a fun time?
Yes, that was a great time.
I am so excited to learn more about you and to introduce our listeners to you. When did you become a professional wrestling fan?
So my earliest wrestling memories probably go back to when I was 5 or 6 years old. My brother was into it and he had gotten into it from a friend. He wasn't just a fan off the bat. So his friend and him would always watch it. And then I think, me being younger, I kind of saw what my brother was doing and wanted to follow along. So I just remember I would always watch it and then just gradually got more, just fell more in love with it. And he doesn't even watch it now. So I guess it just stuck with me.
You're the leader now.
Yes. Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite superstars to watch when you were growing up?
I remember being captivated by the women, but I always felt like they didn't get enough time. So, back in the day, you kind of had no choice but to find the male superstars that you loved. So right. I was a huge Hardy Boys fan, and I gravitated towards Lita as well because she, I thought they were so cool. And then here's this girl that they're hanging with. And I just naturally, her and Trish were kind of the staple women when I was a kid. I feel like everybody has that answer and it's obviously well-deserved, but the Hardy Boys and Lita. And then I was a huge fan of Trish. And then when Undertaker was doing his American Badass stuff, I remember being terrified of him as the Phenom, but then when he came back as the American Badass, I was like, okay, this guy's cool to me now. So I used to love him. And then also TNA, Test and Albert. I feel like they don't get a lot of credit, but I was a huge fan of their feud with the Hardy Boys and Lita, and obviously Trish and Lita's feud. So those are some of my earliest childhood memories.
Who would you say are some of your favorite superstars to watch currently?
Off the bat, Bayley and Seth Rollins. Those are my two that I've been with since I ever laid eyes on both of them. I've loved Seth since the beginning of The Shield. I've always naturally loved high flyers. And I think that comes from just deep down being a Hardy Boys fan. And so Seth was just a given. I loved The Shield, but I just naturally loved him a little bit more. And I've always just felt like I related to Bayley. I feel like especially when she was in NXT, I was like, this would be me if I was a wrestler, ultimate fangirl, just happy to be there, and and I just think that I love both of them so much because I see so much of myself in both of them.
I am so interested in knowing your opinion on this. So we know that WWE has released over 80 plus talent in the last calendar year, and it's become harder for a lot of fans to watch the programming knowing what's going on behind the scenes. Has it become harder or more difficult for you to tune into WWE programming?
Yeah, I feel like it's crazy to say this, but there was so many significant points in my life where I would always tell myself, at the end of the day, you're a WWE fan, and I always felt like nothing could ever change that. And, it got me into wrestling, and that I will always be thankful for. But yes, I do agree with everybody who has been saying these days, it's a little harder to kind of want to watch the product and want to support because of just how they're mistreating certain people. A lot of my favorites get TV time and they, are well off in the company, but I feel like nowadays you really never know, so just with what I've seen with a lot of wrestlers that I've even like fallen in love with over the past couple of years, I think that unfortunately, like it's just kind of scary, to be honest. Like I feel like there was a point where we all kind of thought like, okay, WWE is the end all be all, like, nothing will ever happen. But over the past year, it just seems to be kind of like getting worse. And I honestly worry about what's going to happen, come the next 6 months or the next year. Like, who knows what can happen. So, and to be perfectly honest, I was even worried, like with Bailey being injured, I was like, would something like that happen where they'd let her go or whatever? You just, unfortunately, like, you never know. You want to have faith that, these people are so good, they'll keep them forever. But that clearly doesn't seem to matter. Yeah, it's like I still watch, and I have been a little bit more hesitant these days to like go to events, and I'm like, if I want to spend money on shirts or even just spend money on events, because I'm like, where is this all going? Like, who is this? Am I paying Goldberg's bills? Because I don't think I want to do that.
Let's talk about your graphic design work. You have built an online platform under the name Murua, where you create and illustrate graphic designs of WWE and AEW superstars. When did you start graphic design?
I've always been an artist. Like my entire life, I've always loved to draw. I love writing, and I've done different things throughout my entire life, just kind of like testing the waters. I did it in school, and people have always acknowledged that I have artistic talent. I think it just kind of took like the pandemic to be the thing that kind of like made me realize like, okay, you have this talent. So now you have plenty of time to do something with it. For a long time, I was making so many excuses, and now I had all this free time. So with the pandemic, I kind of was like, I remember my sister telling me like, it's cool that you have your Instagram, but like, I feel like if people saw that you actually have a talent and you're not just, a wrestling fan, like, I feel like it'll draw more people to you. So the pandemic helped a lot. And I think that it's made me realize that as long as you realize you have a talent and you stick to it, like it shows, like people will care about what you're doing. And there's days that I'll still sit and reflect, and I'm like, dang, like all I had to do was just kind of motivate myself a little bit. And like a year ago, I would never thought I would be where I am right now.
How many designs have you created this far?
Wrestling and other things that aren't wrestling, probably like it's got to be like 500 at this point. I've had my iPad since I've had my iPad since last year, and between like getting asked to do commissions for family or friends, or getting asked to do logos or whatever, even like wrestling fans reach out to me like asking me to do things for their Twitch channels or like their YouTube pages and things like that. And so it's like I got eyes on my Instagram from wrestling fans, but they like other things too. So just wrestling alone, it's probably like easily 400 of that. But yeah, my iPad is filled with and there's a lot of stuff that I hadn't even posted on my Instagram because I didn't think it was good enough, so I just feel like every drawing is like a work in progress. But I am very happy and very proud of like looking back at my first couple of designs and then seeing where I am now. I'm like, wow, I grew a lot in a year.
How many stickers have you sold?
I want to say it should be like, for like design wise, I've done about almost like 25, 30, but I don't order a lot. I kind of do it by demand. So it's like, if I get a lot of requests for certain wrestlers, I'll say, okay, I'll order 10 or 20 stickers of this, start slow. And then I always wait. Okay, if people want more, I'll order more. So it's nice that you can just kind of put an order in and then you kind of wait to see what the feedback is. And so that's helped me out a lot because there's a lot of times I'll just be like, I have this cool idea and I want to make it into a sticker. And, it'll seem like people are interested. But then once I post the stickers, it's like I get all these messages. And it's exciting because it's like, again, showing that people care and are watching what I'm doing. So I feel like every sticker I've done, I've at least sold like 25 to 50 of each, if not a little bit under. But yeah, they usually sell out right away. So part of me is like, if I have a good design, I will order more just to make sure that I have the backup instead. But usually I wait for the feedback because it's a lot to invest in a big order, and then if nobody buys anything, you're just left with a bunch of stock. So I like getting that feedback and seeing like, and I know a lot of times people, because I'm the same way, people will wait till I actually post a photo of it and they're like, oh, these are nice. I kind of like seeing that people are interested, and then that's what will drive me to buy more.
You mentioned that you've drawn so many designs over the years, but do you have one sticker that you have sold that has been your proudest one to distribute to your audience?
Probably my 4 Horsewomen one. I had wanted to do a Four Horsewomen, like something of the Four Horsewomen. I originally had the idea to do a pin of them, but I had already done Sasha and Bailey, and I was trying to keep, like, pins are a lot more expensive to invest in. So I felt like, okay, if I'm going to do something with Four Horsewomen, let's see if I release the sticker, let's see if people are interested. And then from that, I started my Diamond Series illustrations, which a lot of people seem to love. And if there's one thing I love about posting my art on Instagram is the amount of women wrestling fans that I have following me and are constantly interested. And I swear I get messages about every woman in the book. When are you going to do this person? When are you going to do this person? So I feel like with the Diamond Series, it's fun that I can incorporate like more than one woman into one product. And then most of the times people just buy them because they love all the women, just like I do. I think it just snowballed from the Four Horsewomen sticker. And I think that, I'm happy seeing that a lot of people love them and all the women as much as I do.
What has been your most time-consuming sticker to design? I would assume it's probably one of your Diamond Series collections with multiple superstars involved in one piece, right?
Yes, definitely, because I spend so much time on each person. So I enjoy the way those turn out, but like I'm such a perfectionist. So it's like I will be paying attention to every last little detail, every last little shadow, piercings, the makeup has to be perfect. Yeah, probably those Diamond Series ones. And that's why I tell people I do plan in the future to have, every kind of era of women's wrestling in WWE anyway, done into a Diamond Series illustration. I have the list made and everything, but it's just so time consuming to draw 4 women at a time. So they will be coming, but just, over time.
We are hitting pause on this episode of Wrestling Winedown to send a special thank you out to the Tasting Room, who sent over some bottles of wine as well as some tasting kits for us to enjoy while recording episodes of Wrestling Winedown. If you are looking for some new and exciting adult beverages to add to your repertoire, go to www.tastingroom.com. Now, back to the episode. I realize that you do focus heavily on WWE women and illustrating them so incredibly, but I wanted to see if there is any interest from your audience to draw women of Impact or maybe even AEW.
So I have found that most people request WWE, but I am interested in leaning more towards other companies just for the time being, because I feel like I'm constantly making lists of people I want to draw that I haven't drawn yet, or if I want to do a new drawing of somebody, because like I said, I'm still progressing myself. So, there may have been a time I drew a certain woman and I hated it because it was when I first started and I want to do a better one, so I'm constantly trying to like produce as much as I can. Recently, I had somebody ask if I could do a Iconics or the inspiration type drawing again, which they're probably like number one on my list because I was such a fan of them when they were in WWE, but I also only watch WWE and AEW. So I'm trying to at least do some AEW women. And then with the inspiration now being an Impact, I do think that I'm going to start tuning in more because of them. Like I'm such a fan of them. So I just don't want to draw anything that I'm like, I would rather draw people that I'm also a fan of and I watch. I hear the requests, but I also, There's a lot of people I get that I'm unfamiliar with. So I'll, look them up and I'm like, oh, I don't know who this is, So I just need to also, do my homework as well. But the inspiration are definitely first on my list for like something new of them, because I know a lot of people loved my Iconics pin of them. And like I said, I was such a big fan. So hopefully with watching Impact, I'll, learn more about these other women they have. And I already have some AEW stickers lined up as well. I did the designs like a month ago. So I'm like ready to drop those like all at once, because it took me a while too for me to really like gravitate towards any of the women in AEW. I was kind of like, testing the waters with a lot of them. And lately I've just been loving everybody. So with them too, I'm like, I got to draw everybody. But I do have a giant list in my phone. And anytime somebody, requests somebody, I'll like look into doing match. A lot of people request like, indie wrestlers as well. And I'll, go on YouTube and kind of see their work and everything. I just want to be more familiar with the person I'm drawing before I do it,
Have you had any of the wrestlers that you've illustrated recognize your work via social media? And how did it make you feel to know that they've seen the work you've created?
Okay, so this is my favorite story. I haven't told anybody this story. So this is an exclusive.
The Wrestling Winedown exclusive.
Yes. So when I did my Young Bucks drawing, It was November of last year because they had just won the titles at Full Gear. I had posted a drawing that I did of them with the tag titles, and everybody was writing to me like, make it a pin, make it a sticker, you know. And I hadn't done any AEW stuff yet. And I had already fallen in love with them so much that I'm like, you know what? If anyone's going to be my first AEW pin, it's them. I don't know if you know this, but WWE is not very lenient with their, with people posting fan art or selling fan art.
Oh, so yes, I know.
So I felt like if this was going to be the time that I had to kind of gravitate towards another company, AEW would be it. So I didn't want to start off on a bad note. So I wrote to Matt Jackson and asked his permission to make the pin. And I had said, like, if there's anything I have to do, I don't want to make money off of this if it's going to, you know, if it's going to rub anyone the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And he personally wrote back to me and told me that him and Nick loved the design. And he said they were totally behind me making the pin. And he told me that the only thing I had to do was remove the AEW logo from the titles. So that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people ask me like, oh, why'd you do that? And I'm like, yeah, I want them to like it, but I also don't want to like, so that's why I also try to avoid doing like titles on my stuff, because it's still like WWE stuff. At the end of the day, like they're going to find a problem with everything. But I just felt like I love the Young Bucks a lot. And just Matt writing back to me when he didn't have to, you know what I mean? And I feel like he just giving me the okay and kind of telling me how to go about it, like just made me feel so happy. And then even when I shared the fan art of them, they both posted it on their story, and they're just so good to their fans in general. So that was like, it reassured me even more. Like I made the right decision on who my first pen would be. Yeah, I love how it turned out. I get compliments on it all the time. So that's probably like the one that I'm the happiest with, because they mean so much to me and they approved it. So that was cool.
Let's talk about the future. Do you have any stickers coming out that we should keep an eye out, keep our coins ready for?
I do have my list of the Diamond Series illustration. So the next one that I will be doing is the second half of the Attitude Era. I already have the first two with my 1998 one and my 2001 one. One of my followers was the one who gave me the idea for the Diamond Series, and him and I together kind of put our heads together and made the list ourselves. So after that third Attitude Era one, actually, it's more like Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. I'm going to be doing a Divas Era one, which I think a lot of people will love. And then, and then I have the 3 AEW ones coming out. But WWE, I've been trying to find the motivation, but like I said, it's been a little hard these days, but there's still a lot of women that I would love to do work on. Candice LeRae, Shotzi Blackheart. I'm huge fans of both of them, and they've been on my list forever to kind of do something fun. I want to do something with like wrestling couples as well.
Oh,
I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I love a lot of them. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun, and a lot of people, like I know Miz and Maurice, everybody loves them, you know.
Yes,
like
I would be the first one to buy that one.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like it's just like a fun thing. I know a lot of people love like Britt and Adam Cole too. So there's a huge list that I feel like I have no excuse to say I don't have any idea. So hopefully soon enough, I'll be able to bang those out.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for joining me here on Wrestling Winedown. It has been amazing to personally follow you myself and see your journey and the amazing designs that you create. Where can the people follow you to buy your designs as well as follow along on your journey?
So I am at Nekamura on Instagram and Twitter. It's NECKAMURA. And if you are interested in purchasing anything on my Instagram, you can just hit up my DMs.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. And if you missed it, we now have Wrestling Winedown merch. You can go buy yours at whatamaneuver.net. Let us know what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!